All right, so now that we've kind of started practicing writing word problems, we have to talk about, instead of things adding up to a total amount, like my X and Y's, they're always, all the ones we've done, they've added up to a total. Now we're going to compare the two things to each other. So in our example, what does that mean, comparing two things to each other? It says there are 6 fewer boys than twice the number of girls. So we are comparing the number of boys to the number of girls. That's how I know, oh, well, it's not going to be that they add up to a total. We're comparing how many boys and how many girls. So that means that one of our letters is going to be on the side of the equal sign by itself. How do I know which letter is going to be on the side by itself? Well, whichever letter or whichever variable that you read first in this sentence that they're comparing to each other, that letter goes first. So we're going to do first letter goes by itself. Okay? And then the other letter obviously is going to go here. So second letter. And when we're doing this, there could be a number in front of the second letter and there could be a number behind the second letter. So we're going to talk about, well, how do I know where those are supposed to go? But in this example, okay, there are 6 fewer boys than twice the number of girls. Obviously, we're talking about B and G. B for boys, and G for girls. Hello. Why isn't this writing there? So when I'm reading this sentence, did I read the word boys or girls first in this sentence? Well, here we go. There are 6 fewer boys. That's my first letter, because I read it first. Then twice the number of girls. That's second. So then I would put B by itself. B equals something, G something. Okay. The other blanks. So a number that would go in front, there's a couple different ways I would know if a number gets to go in the front. So we're going to make it a different color. So the number that goes in the front, that's going to be because the question says twice as many, or double, or 3 times as many, or half. Something along those lines. That's what they're going to be talking about for the number that goes in front. Okay. The number that goes behind the letter over here is going to be talking about fewer than, or less than, or greater than, or more than. Okay. Now, with our words that are behind the letter, we're going to have to put whether that means plus or minus. So we're going to label our fewer than and our less than. Both of those means we would be putting minus the number, and greater than or more than means that we would be adding the number. Why did I put that underline? Adding the number. So with all this in mind, let's read the sentence again. Obviously, I see there's a 6 in there, so I have to figure out, is 6 going to go in front of G or behind G? Now it said 6 fewer. Where do I see fewer in this list? Oh, fewer is over here. Fewer than. The than is over here after the word boys. Okay, so that means I'm going to put 6 here. Am I going to put plus or minus 6? Well, fewer means we got to put minus. That means less. So minus 6. And there's another word in here. So it said there are 6 fewer boys than twice. Twice. That means a number. Twice, what number does it mean? It means the number 2. And twice means that's one of our words in the front. So I'm going to put 2 in the front. So this equation, when you see it like written out, it would be B equals 2G minus 6. That is different than the equations we have been writing. So you have to be able to do this. So let's look at a real example. So in Miss Thompson's geometry class, she has a mixture of boys and girls. She has a total of 28 students. There are 3 times as many boys as girls. Write a system. So first of all, what are the 2 things that we are comparing? Boys and girls, obviously, if you did not figure that out. So I'm going to do B for boys, G for girls. Now in this sentence, I still saw the word total. So I should still be writing something plus something adds up to a total equation. Now, what was my total word? It was right here, total of 28. So that means my boys plus my girls is adding up to 28. That's my total equation. Check, that's one of them. My second equation, there are 3 times as many boys as girls. That is one of the special new ones that we just learned, comparing 2 things to each other. So I'm going to set this up in this question. So I'm going to have a letter equals something, the other letter something. So I know this is supposed to be my first letter. So in the sentence where they were comparing things to each other, that means this sentence right here. Whoop. In that sentence, did they say boys or girls first? Well, let's read it. It says there are 3 times as many boys. That came first, so it goes by itself. Boys and girls is going to go over here. And what was the number in here? There are 3 times. So I got to figure out, is 3 going to go in the first blank or the second blank? Well, the word I'm looking at is where it says 3 times as many. So let's look back at our list of words. 3 times. The key there is times. Look at this, 3 times. Now they spelled out the word 3, but they could put 3, the number. They could put 3 times, 4 times, 500 times, okay? Any number in front of the word times, that means it's got to go in the front. So that means my 3 times goes in the front. Is there another number? No, there are 3 times as many boys as girls. No other numbers besides 3. So I can cross this blank out. And that equation is just, what color? B equals 3G. So my system for this question was my totals, which was B plus G equals 28. And my comparing through B equals 3G. That would be the 2 equations. Okay. One more example. Here we go. Miss Thompson has some quarters and dimes in her pocket. She has a total of $2.40. She has 5 more than twice the number of dimes than quarters. Does that make sense? Yes. Write a system. So I'm comparing quarters and dimes. So I'm going to use Q for quarters, D for dimes. Okay, so I had my total equation, total of $2.40. Now this is money, so that means I'm not just going to do Q plus D equals 240. I need to have some money numbers with my quarters and dimes. Now, thankfully, we know that quarters are how much? Well, they're 25 cents. So as a decimal, that's 0.25. We know dimes are 10 cents. So we know as a decimal, that's 0.10. So for my total equations, I have my 0.25 should go with quarters, plus my 0.10 goes with dimes, equals $2.40. Money goes with money. Check. That's my total. The other equation is in this sentence. She has 5 more than twice the number of dimes as quarters, I think it's supposed to say. Okay, so that's comparing to each other. So as I read that sentence, I know that's going to be letter equals something, other letter, something. So I have to figure out which did they talk about first in this sentence, the quarters of the dime. So let's read again. She has 5 more than twice the number of dimes first. So dimes alone. Quarters over here. Okay. My other numbers. I see in my question I got a 5 and I got twice. I know those both mean numbers. Now we know twice means the number 2. So I figure out which blank is going to be 5 and which blank is going to be 2. So when it says 5 more than, I'm checking my words. Checking my words. More than. Where is it? Boom. Down there. More than. So that tells me it's going to go after this letter. And it's going to be a plus. So my 5 is an after number. So 5. And more than means it was a plus. I'm going to put plus 5. My 2 twice. We read twice is right there. So that should go in front. Just like the first example. Twice goes in the front. What happened to my 2? So my 2 equations, final answer is obvious. It's going to be my total equation 0.25q plus 0.10d equals 240. And my comparing equation d equals 2q plus 5. So you are going to start on the formative. You are going to ask Ms. Thompson if you have questions. I know it sounds complicated, but like you're not going to get better if you don't try something. So try to do the first one. If you're having problems, ask.